What's going on, everybody? And I've been using the iPad mini 4 extensively because I like the size and format, and I believe there are other people who like this device, so upgrade would be nice. And considering that this device was released back in the September of 2015, it's been more than 3 years since it was pushed out. So it is in fact rumored that Apple is going to release the brand new iPad mini 5 this year. So this video is going to be about my realistic expectations. You can say rumors because it can also happen, so let's get started with this video right now. First of all, the naming for this device is of course obvious. We don't expect anything else when the previous devices were named iPad mini 1 to 4. This one is of course going to be named the iPad mini 5. It would be a really big surprise if Apple went ahead and gave us some weird naming for this, so mini 5 is going to be the one. The next thing that I expect, and I believe other people do expect this, and I think that Apple will also make it happen, is the bezel-less display, where we get the look of the new iPhone X or the iPad Pro, where we almost don't have any bezels surrounding the display, meaning that the chassis and the actual footprint of the iPad stays the same, but only the screen size is going to be increased, which is definitely a great thing. We don't want to have bezels like this anymore in 2019, so I think this is going to happen. And what's also connected with this is the home button, which of course will probably disappear since we're not going to need it anymore in the future because of the new way how you control the iPad. And of course we are not going to be using the Touch ID anymore. The Touch ID is actually getting away. And Face ID right now is the thing that iPads and the latest devices from Apple use, so we can only expect that iPad mini 5 will also have the Face ID instead of the home button and the Touch ID implemented into the home button. And because we're not going to have the home button, we of course will have to use the digital or the software home button, whatever you want to call it. So you just swipe up and you use it as a home button. This is how it's going to work on the iPads. And I would say that it's already there because right now if you take a look at whatever iPad you have running the iOS 12, you can see that the very same thing is already present right here. If you open up settings, you can either click the home button to come back to the home screen, or you can swipe up, which means that it's already there. I mean, you don't really have to use the home button anymore, and you could go without it. Right now it's only like the thing that you use to wake up the iPad, or you use it to unlock it using your fingerprint. But if you could only tap the screen to wake it up, and if you could use Face ID, you wouldn't really need to use the home button anymore. And that's the reason why Apple is getting rid of this. And that's why the next iPad mini 5 will probably not have a home button. So the Touch ID is going to be replaced with fully functioning Face ID, which is the face unlocking feature from Apple. And the thing is that it's going to be supported in every orientation of the iPad, unlike on the iPhone where you can only use it like this. In order for the iPhone to unlock it and scan your face, you're not able to scan your face in a landscape mode. iPads will have it available in every orientation, just like with the iPad Pro. By the way, if this is your first visit here on this channel, then don't forget to click the subscribe button because I try to post content like this all the time and I want to upload videos that could be useful for you, so take a look at some of my other content, and if you like it and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button. As we already talked about the iOS and the software, I think that Apple should introduce or could introduce with these iPads a dedicated software just for the iPads. I mean, right now it's the iOS, which is supported on the iPhones and iPads, and perhaps they could bring something new which would be similar, but it would be like a different world of iPads. I mean, just like you have with the MacBooks, they don't use iOS, they use macOS, or on the Apple Watch, they have their own circle of updates, and the same thing applies to the Apple TV, so I think that Apple should separate the iPads from the iPhones and bring another updates, maybe bring up some different naming for this, I don't know, iPad OS. That would be weird, but anyways, this is not very likely to happen this year or in the near future, but perhaps in the future it could also happen that we're gonna get an iPhone running iOS and an iPad running a completely different version of the software. The next thing that I also expect, and it would be great to see on an iPad mini 5, would be the upgraded front-facing camera, because this one is honestly terrible. I mean, we don't care about the rear-facing one. I mean, not many people use it that much. It looks weird when you take photos with your iPad, so there aren't many people doing that. But the front-facing one, we use it for the FaceTime, we use it for phone calls and things like that, so I think that they should definitely go ahead and update this one, because it is only 1.2 megapixels, which is really bad in 2019. So hopefully they will increase that. So right now you can only record video to a quality up to 720p, which is not even a full HD video in 2019. So it's kind of difficult to explain how bad I would want it to improve, but I think that Apple will definitely do something about it. I mean, the very same camera with the 1.2 megapixels on the front side has been featured in every iPad mini, including the first generation of the Mini 1, which is really weird. I mean, this one was released back in 2012, where 1.2 megapixels on a front-facing camera could be acceptable, but not right now. By the way, in case you would like to see the in-depth comparison of these two devices, then definitely take a look at the description of this video down below, and there will be a link to this video, so take a look at it if you are interested. The next sort of obvious thing that is going to happen with the Mini 5 are the upgraded internals, and we definitely expect some speed improvements. For example, right now we only have 2 GB of RAM on a pretty big device, so they could increase that to 3 or 4 GB. We're gonna have to wait for that. And also Apple could bring some new chip. If not the latest A12 Bionic, then at least they could bring the Apple A11 chip, which would make it a really great device. I think for most people it would be definitely enough. Right now we use the Lightning connector in order to charge the iPad, so I think that in the future they could bring the USB Type-C, and that would be really great, honestly, because even on the iPad Pro we already have the USB-C support, so it's not like there isn't any iPad supporting that. There is iPad with the USB Type-C, so I think that the Mini 5 could also get it. The 120Hz display is something that I don't think will make its way to the iPad Mini 5, because it is still considered to be a premium feature. It is only part of the iPad Pro 10.5 inch and also of the iPad Pro 12.9 inch second generation, so it's still considered to be like not for everybody and only for the Pro users. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is the way the display looks. It just looks really great, everything flows really nicely, and it's just really pleasing to the eye. It really sets the display apart from the other displays, but unfortunately it will probably not happen with this one. In terms of the headphone jack, I honestly don't know what's going to happen with this, because on the iPads it has already been removed a couple of times, but with the Mini 4 we still have it. On the iPhones we don't have it anymore, but on the MacBooks we still get them, even on the latest one, so I have no idea what they want to do with this. Perhaps they will keep it, perhaps not, we're gonna have to wait for that. Apple Pencil support is a really great thing, and in my opinion it will also be supported on the Mini 5. Just like I was talking about the 120Hz display, that it is only part of the Pro models, that was also the case for the Apple Pencil, only until they released the support for the 2018 iPad, which is not premium at all. It has a very good price, and it is dedicated for students, so I think that they will be making the very same steps with the iPad Mini 5, and I think that they will also introduce the Apple Pencil support. In terms of the look or the finish, I think that Apple will only bring the usual, the silver and of course the space gray version. Perhaps they will also bring in the gold one. I don't expect rose gold to happen with the iPad. And they will also not experiment with any kind of crazy colors like with the iPhone XR. This is not going to happen with the Mini 5. And also the price, I mean, it's really obvious that it's not going to be priced about $1,000, but we expect the price to be from $400 up to $700 or $600, depending on the storage you get and depending on if you buy the cellular version, if it's going to be available, but I think it will, so we're gonna have to wait and see what's going to happen with the price, but this is the point that you could expect. So this will be everything what I wanted to mention in this video. Let me know what you think about the iPad Mini 5, let me know what you think about the features and everything that could be part of the Mini 5. Let me know all of this down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up to let me know that you enjoyed it, and button for more content like this, for more rumors, expectations, but also some iOS reviews, watchOS stuff for your iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch. Click the subscribe button and make sure we see each other in the next video as well. Have a nice day and see you there.